Hi guys, and welcome to the Sunderland vs Oxford match review. So Sunderland got yet another 3 points, this time at the Stadium Light against Oxford after winning by 3-1, and it definitely wasn't without his drama, was it? It absolutely was not without his drama, but who cares? We got away with 3 points. But getting into the game, we did have Jones back in the lineup, starting as well, which I didn't expect. I thought if anything he would have come off the bench maybe, but he started. I was really pleased to see that, and our lineup was very, very attacking. It was filthy attacking, but I will get into my my little gripes with the lineup. Obviously, I can't do a review without moaning about something. But yeah, we did have Burge in goal. Left back, we had McFadzean. On the right, we had Conor McLaughlin returning to the lineup on the right. We had O'Nien and Sanderson in the middle, of course. Now, in the centre of midfield, we had Max Power and we had Scowen. Now, for me, I would have played Winchester in there because we didn't have anyone to control that midfield, which I'll get into in a little bit more detail. But Power and Scowen together, for me, I don't think it works. Particularly against 11 men on the pitch, it didn't work, in my opinion. Neither of them have the ability to control the midfield, again, my opinion. You need a Leadbitter or a Winchester in there, and I feel like with those two in there was a huge disconnect between the middle third and the final third. There just seemed to be this big gap there because none of them could put a foothold on the ball. But anyway, again, we'll get into it because in the end, obviously, we won the game and I'm happy. But I just thought I'd throw that out there and we'll get into that. But then up top, we had Jones on one side, you had McGeady on the other, then you had Gooch playing off Charlie White. So getting into the game, like I say, you can see straight away there was an issue because we had no control over the centre of midfield and they were walking through us at times. It was so easy because you don't have anyone who's that sort of conductor, that holding player. And they were both... There was this disconnect, like I say, and there just seemed to be just not on the same wavelength, Scowen and Power. Hence why we just couldn't control the ball. If we wanted to get into the final third, we had to completely bypass the middle third, i.e. hoof it football or hoofing it down the wings for the likes of Jones or McGeady to chase because Power and Scowen had zero influence on the game and we looked very, very poor. Only going forward every now and then, you'd get Jones on one side and McGeady on the other running at him, but the final ball wasn't quite there. But that was what was letting us down, that centre. There was just nothing, there was no core to the side at all. Like I said, you need a Leadbitter or you need a Winchester in that middle to control it and allow the other to get forward. They just didn't know what they were doing, in my opinion, Scowen or Power. But defensively, I think they were all right at times. You know, there were some last-ditch challenges that I think were brilliant, particularly Scowen. Of course, Power got his goal in the end, but I just mean generally in that first half, neither of them were on the same wavelength, but I won't dilly-dally on that for too long, if that's the right word. But eventually we did concede, and it was deserved in my opinion, because we just looked toothless going forward, and like I say, we had no control over the game, and they looked more dangerous, if anything. And they did break forward, and eventually it's a very, very good finish. In fact, it's a fantastic finish from James Henry. Like I say, it was on the counter-attack, and it's played to Henry on the right-hand side, outside the box, and he's driven into the bottom left-hand corner. Burge had no chance. Amazing finish. It was a brilliant finish, it has to be said, like I say. But we managed to just scrape into half-time level. It was a brilliant piece of play from Jordan Jones. Absolutely brilliant. And this is why I did say in my preview to this game, although I kind of expected him to be on the bench, I thought that even if he is only just fully fit, and you need to be cautious with players who, of course, just come back from injury, he's too good to leave out, and this is why I wanted him on the pitch. He's took on one man brilliantly well. A few step over, takes it past him, then he slows up the play, he's holding the play, he's waiting for someone to make a move off the ball. He's put it through the legs of the defender, which puts Gooch in a couple of yards out. We prods it home to make it 1-1 just before half-time. So we're quite lucky in that sense. You know, it was just before half-time. It was a great time to score a goal, but we needed to change something in the second half, in my opinion. So the second half did get underway, and I didn't feel like, you know, although there was an improvement, don't get me wrong, I feel like Power and Scowen, they both looked like they wanted it a little bit more, but still there was just something missing, and I felt like we did look a little bit toothless. But the game changer was the red card. It was so Mark Sykes, he gets himself sent off. It's a 50-50 challenge. You know, he had every right to go for the ball, but it was a poorly timed challenge, and he's followed through on Luke O'Nien, and it's absolutely a second bookable offence. So he's gone off, and I think that's when it changed the game. And that's where it was basically a case of when are we going to score rather than if, you know, because they were dropping off. Although, to be fair to them, you know, they were still going for it, they were still making it hard for us. But I just felt like that extra man was really starting to show as the game went on. We were really getting at them more. Jones was terrorising him on one side, McGeady really going for it on the other. I just felt like it was just a matter of time. It was one of those feelings, you know, It was frustrating at first, but it always felt like a goal was going to come. And it did eventually. So we took a free kick quickly. This is where it's been a little bit controversial over Twitter and social media. We took a free kick quickly, right? But the thing is, and Oxford fans, I suppose they have somewhat of a case to complain, but it was their man that committed the foul, right? Then he's decided to very, very slowly go to the floor. So we've took it quickly. We have every right to do so. It's our free kick. It was him that gave away the free kick, and as soon as we played it quickly, it slowly's gone to the floor. And halfway through the free kick, he was up anyway. We were fine. But anyway, we end up playing it around. A couple of passes, pulled back lovely, set up McGeady on the edge of the boxes, put it into the bottom right-hand corner, and we've scored. So of course they're fuming because we took it whilst their man was on the floor, but it was absolutely fine. It was just taking the piss. As was Callum Robson, their manager, who is an absolute arsehole, I have to say. Throughout the entire game, you can just hear him shouting and swearing. He's moaning. That's just what he is. And we've become accustomed to that. Every time we play Oxford, all you can hear is Callum Robson just screaming and shouting and swearing, just unnecessarily as well half the time, just moaning about nothing. He's just a whiny little bitch, in my opinion. But he did get himself sent off as well for moaning and calling the ref or the assistant the C word, I think it was. But that's how we'll title it. But yeah, he went a bit overboard and he got himself sent off. But we made it 3-1. We were literally defending for our lives up at one end. Goal line clearances and everything. Then we break forward. Charlie White down the right-hand side. Brilliant ball. Absolutely brilliant ball, which slipped through Max Power on the counter-attack. 1-1 on the keeper. He dinks it past the keeper to finish the game off, round it up to make it 3-1. And of course he celebrates right in front of the Oxford staff and in front of their dugout. And I don't blame him. And the reason I don't blame him is because I think that was in response to what happened a couple of years ago, if you don't remember. Of course, I know there was supposed to be a tussle or something in the tunnel at half time. I get that, so there's definitely a bit of animosity there. But I think a couple of years ago, when Power, of course, he just started his career with us, he had a really harsh and difficult start. He got himself a sort of row of sending offs, didn't he? He kept coming back from suspension, get himself sent off, then be suspended again, and it kept happening with him, and he was becoming a liability. But there was that one time when we did play Oxford, Power got himself sent off for a challenge that should never in a million years be deemed as a red card. It was given, and then as Power's going off the pitch, all the Oxford staff are just going at him, and really unprofessionally as well. So I think that was in response to that, and I don't blame him, because the Oxford lot, the staff, they were just arseholes. They really were. So I don't blame him for giving it a bit, and I don't mind a bit of shithousery. I absolutely love it, in fact. So yeah, that rounded off the game 3-1, which is, of course, an absolutely brilliant result. Again, when it was 11v11, it was a questionable performance at times. Like I say, the middle was a worry. We didn't have any control over the game, which I keep repeating, I know, but I know it's annoying. One thing I probably would have done, although when I first saw the lineup, I was worried why Winchester wasn't starting, but also, although it looks really attacking and good with McGeady and Jones and Gooch, I still believe that O'Brien should have started. 100% he should have started, because at times, and I've said this before, the reason I rate O'Brien so much is because he runs the channel so well. And there was times where, I'm sat there and I'm thinking, why the hell am I seeing Charlie White making off-the-ball runs down the right wing? Why? He should never in a million years be there. Although, to be fair, he did obviously get that brilliant assist, but generally, you don't want your big target man. You don't want your top goal scorer running down the right wing. He's not known for his pace or anything. Again, he did get a brilliant assist, but you don't want him there. You want him in the middle. But because O'Brien wasn't there to run the channels, and Gooch definitely wasn't running the channels. In fact, before Gooch scored that goal, I wanted him off because I thought Gooch was quite poor up until that point. But of course, he ended up playing very well in the second half. But yeah, I wanted O'Brien back. I think that game would have been a lot more comfortable had we had Winchester on the pitch and O'Brien as well. I feel like that would have been a lot more of a comfortable performance and a result, I think, in the end. I think it would have been. But of course, I'm not going to have a pop at Lee Johnson for trying something different. I'm welcome to that. But I think that is what the issue was. But yeah, 3-1, brilliant result, of course, against an Oxford side that have been excellent in the second half of the season. But if you have a look at the league table, things could have been a lot different. They really could. But a couple of late goals as well, means that Hull and Peterborough, they won as well. They would have, I think both of them, Hull were drawing 1-1, Peterborough were drawing 0-0. They both scored last-minute winners. Had it remained as draws in those games, we would be in second now. But unfortunately, that isn't the case, which sets us up for a huge game on Monday. We knew it was going to be massive anyway against Peterborough, but it is even bigger now. So it's a huge, huge result, and I just don't want to see Oxford again. I don't. Just their staff. Cole Robinson, the most tin pot man in League One, really is. But either way, hopefully we don't need to see them again. We shall see though. But if you have enjoyed this match review, then of course hit the like button for me. It's always massively appreciated. And subscribe if you're new to the channel. But for now, you take care and stay jamming.